Welcome to Candlewick Library. I'm Cheryl. Today I'm talking about my Jurassic Reading Challenge and some of my plans for the year. I have been seeing so many people make videos and talk about this challenge, and it is making me even more excited. I'm so glad I decided to make this challenge for everybody. I'm so glad all of you are joining me in it, and I want to make sure that there is some engagement for me throughout the year, not just each month of what I'm going to read that month. So I was thinking a lot about it, and I would love to hear any suggestions if any of you have things that you would like to see from me or that you think would be fun throughout the year. Let me know and I'll see if I can make things work. But when I sat down to make my pages in my reading journal for this challenge, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to read each month for it yet, because sometimes I like to make that choice in the month. But there are some that I know for sure I'm going to be reading throughout the year. And so I'm just going to show the dinosaur-ish books I'm going to be reading. And then if I know for sure what month I'm probably, or what prompt I'm probably going to be using it for, then I'll share that. I talked about how it hasn't been that long since I've read Jurassic Park. And so I was planning on just starting with The Lost World and not reading Jurassic Park this year. But it has been a year and a half. So I think I am going to go ahead and reread it, because what I decided I wanted to do with Jurassic Park is I want to reread it and I want to make a video review about it the same way I've done with, if you've seen any of my Harry Potter videos, you've seen that I've been doing deep dives into Harry Potter. It wouldn't be exactly the same thing because it wouldn't be about some symbols in the books. I kind of just want to go through it and talk about some of my favorite things in the book, things that I wish that they would have put in the movie, etc. So what I'm planning on doing is rereading this and watching the movie. And then I want to talk, and I don't know if that will be one video or two videos, but I want to talk about the similarities, the differences, the things I love about them, the things I don't like about them, and just do a little bit more of a deep dive on the book and the movie. So I am planning on reading this in January. So both of those videos will probably come out in February. And then I plan on doing that with The Lost World as well. So I will be rereading The Lost World as I plan to, and then talking about that movie, even though, as most people know, I didn't like that movie very much. But I think that will be a good opportunity to really dive into why. And then I am planning on throughout the year rewatching all of the movies in the Jurassic Park franchise, all the way up to the most recent one. Some of them I've only seen once, so that would be a good refresher to talk about. After reading these two books, being able to notice things that might pop up in the later movies that were from the books. Then a couple of other books that have to do with dinosaurs or paleontology or something like that that I know I'm going to for sure be reading this year. In my TBR for January video, I talked about Dinotopia. So that is one of them I will be reading. I am going to be reading that in January though, so it won't count for any of the other challenge prompts, but it will be a dinosaur book. And so of course I'll talk about that as well. And then I'm going to be rereading Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. This book is set during the Bone Wars in paleontology, and I have only read it once, but I really liked it, so I'm excited to read that one again. The other 5 that I have in this pile are ones I've never read before. The first one is Dinosaur Summer by Greg Bear. So this basically talks about The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which I also read a few years ago, and I might reread that this year too. I don't know. That might be kind of fun to read before I read this, because this says 1947, nobody wants dinosaurs anymore. 5 years after Professor Challenger's discovery of the Lost World, America's last dinosaur circus has gone bankrupt, leaving a dozen Avosaurs, Centrosaurs, Ankylosaurs, and one large raptor abandoned. Now a daring expedition plans to do the impossible, return the Jurassic giants to the wild. 2 filmmakers, a circus trainer, a journalist, and young Peter Belzoni must find a way to take the dinosaurs across oceans, continents, rivers, jungles, up a mountain that has been isolated for 70 million years. If they make it, all they'll have to do is face all the prehistoric wonders, dangers, and terrors of the Lost World. So actually, I really do think I need to reread The Lost World. So add that to this list. I will add it on my list later, because I did enjoy The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So I'll read that and then read this, because it sounds like he set this right after that in the same world. I'm really looking forward to that one. I think that one sounds really good. And then this is a collection of short stories, and I think only one of them is anything to do with this, but it's called A Sound of Thunder and Other Stories by Ray Bradbury. It says one of them is a prehistoric jungle. I saw this pop up on a lot of lists for books that are about dinosaurs or for people that like Jurassic Park. So I think that one is A Sound of Thunder. The butterfly is on the cover, so I think it might be. But either way, I'm going to be reading that and probably all of the short stories in the collection. Kimberly Woodhouse has a series, I think this is book 3. It's called the Treasures of the Earth series, and they've had to do with paleontology. The first book in the series I liked, but I didn't love it that much. But I really liked the second book. I think it was called Set in Stone. I really liked that one. And then this one is called A Hope Unburied. It says, in the bustling world of paleontology in 1916, Eliza Mills defies societal expectations to pursue her passion. Having published her early groundbreaking papers under a false name, she has finally earned her place at the Carnegie Museum and seizes the opportunity to work at Dinosaur National Monument with a renowned paleontologist. But things in Jensen, Utah aren't what they appear. When Eliza gets the chance to dig up bones at a ranch with a dark history, it sparks a chain of events that will rock the very fabric of her carefully constructed world. I think that sounds really good. And also, the National Monument is here in Utah. There's a little town here in Utah called Vernal, and it has dinosaur stuff everywhere. There's statues all over the place. There's a museum, and then you drive out of the town a little bit to get to the National Dinosaur Monument. And so we have gone there a couple of times, and I am thinking it would be really fun to go there again this year during this challenge. And I think it would be really fun to read a book that is set there right before we go. So I will probably get to that in late spring, early summer, and then go up to Vernal at some point this summer. That is not a fact yet, but it's something I think would be really fun to do. And then I heard about this book by Douglas Preston. It's called Extinction. And this says, Erebus Resort, occupying a magnificent 100,000 acre valley deep in the Colorado Rockies, offers guests the experience of viewing woolly mammoths, Irish elk, and giant ground sloths in their native habitat, brought back from extinction through the magic of genetic manipulation. And it goes on from there, but it sounds really interesting. And then for sure, I know that the bonus prompt that was read a nonfiction, I know for sure this is the one I'm reading for it. This is called The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, A New History of Their Lost World by Steve Bruchata. I'm not sure how to say his name. He's an American paleontologist, and he says he masterfully brings to life the lost world of the dinosaurs, illuminating their enigmatic origins, spectacular flourishing, astonishing diversity, cataclysmic extinction, and startling living legacy. So I heard good things about this as well, and I just think it sounds really interesting. So I'm going to be reading this probably throughout the whole year. These might be books that I will use for the prompts for my Jurassic Reading Challenge, or they might be books that I just read throughout the year and have to do with dinosaurs. So it kind of extends the challenge beyond just the prompts. So like I said, I will be doing reviews of all of the dinosaur books that I read this year. Definitely more in-depth reviews of Jurassic Park and The Lost World and the movies. I might do that with The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle as well, because I know that Doug and I watched a movie of that right after we read it, and I can remember liking some things about it but not others, so I'll have to look at that again. I might rewatch that after reading it again. I don't know. I will probably have other movies that have to do with dinosaurs, and if I think of other books, I'll add those in as well. So if you have a favorite book about dinosaurs or paleontology or a favorite movie that includes them, let me know that below. And then, like I said at the beginning, if there's anything that you really think it would be fun to have me do during this year, let me know that below as well. Thank you to all of you who have been so excited about this challenge and who are joining in. I think it's going to be really fun, and I think it's going to be even more fun now that I know so many people are so excited about it.